Did he change his Xbox name? I can't find George on here for some reason.
It's Groggers.
I know, but I can't find it on here. Why is he not on the streamer account friends list?
Let me get him.
He should be on it.
What the? Do I not even have him, man?
So I thought. That's what I'm saying. I confused. Give us one moment. Folks. Yeah, so to answer the question in the chat, for those of you just joining us who missed the race, Mintokki did win ahead of Zakaria and Danny. And, you know, I must say, it is quite fitting. Owen in this race, in the Williams, once again, he won his title back in Imola. And he didn't finish in the top 5 at all, I believe. You have George, same thing for him in today's race. Didn't finish inside the top 5, both times claiming the title. It seems like the two best Tier 2 drivers there. Just have their own ways of winning it must be said. And yeah, Owen finished 6th in that race when he won it, becoming a 4-time champion. And George Alp-Williams, who joins us now, finished P7 to win his 2nd Tier 2 title. George, welcome along. Good to have you. Congrats.
Hello. Thank you.
Make sure your audio is included, by the way.
It is. Don't worry.
All right, cool. So, this season, you get the full season to run now compared to last season. You also have a proper chance of the Constructors, with that being said as well. Constructors race goes on to Brazil now for this season, though. But either way, you started off winning 3 in a row. Had a little slump, not too big a one. We had a little slump. Won last week to kind of certify that you could win the title, and now you've won the title for the 2nd time in Tier 2. How does it feel, and how does this rank compare to your first one?
Not as nice, I'd say, because I felt the first one was harder. And this one, like you said, I had a bit of a slump, so it's like the past, like, well, ever since the first 3 races, I've not been the fastest driver, or like really been like that competitive. I know obviously I won in Vegas, but I've not been as competitive as what I'd like to have been. But because I had a good start to the season, I've just had to sort of like hold on. Where the last season I was like just constantly getting better every race, and it was a bit more like competitive in the championship, obviously. So it was a bit more exciting, I'd say, last season. But no, I'm still happy, still really like it, and it's nice to obviously have 2 championships now to my belt instead of just the 1.
You have a chance to win McLaren's first Constructors' Championship in Tier 2 next week. How does that make you feel that you and Polo have had this dynamic duo this season, it seems, in terms of the lineup? I know both of you, would love to have more 1-2s like you guys started out with, but you have a chance to create history with that being said, kind of like last season in a way. Last season, it was on the driver's side that you had the biggest comeback in Tier 2 history in terms of points deficit. Now this season, it could be McLaren's first Tier 2 title.
Yeah, it would be nice. I think Polo's had a similar season to me. Obviously he had that win in Hungary, but it feels like he's been had a little bit of a slump as well. So I guess it's maybe not as nice of a feeling either, because it's like it feels like a little bit hollow and undeserved now, because we've both been pretty uncompetitive the last few races. Like I personally haven't felt like since Hungary, Austria, really, sorry. I haven't really entered the race feeling like I'm gonna like easily win it, like I did before. Like I didn't really feel confident. So I mean, yeah, it would still be nice, and obviously it's the aim. I'm not sure what we have to do to wrap it up, if it's like easy or not. But no, it would still be nice to obviously reflect that we have both performed well most of the season.
Do you have a favorite win or favorite race from this season?
Vegas was nice, obviously, because it was like redemption. I can't remember now. What was there? The first one was there was Bahrain. Bahrain was alright. It wasn't very good. It wasn't the cleanest overtake I did on Night Owl, which sort of took the edge off a little bit. China was alright, but it was a little bit easy. And then what was it?
Portimao.
Portimao. I can't remember, which probably says it was a boring race. So yeah, Vegas probably I'd say it was a really competitive, close race, and it was chopping and changing every lap, and it was nice to win it in the end. So yeah, I go with Vegas.
Things come full circle, it must say, don't they? You had last time in the penultimate round last season, Mintokki get her first win in Qatar. That day, you won the title in the storage room.
Yeah.
You had the same thing practically happen this time, except no storage room title. This time, you won it before the last round entirely. And Mintokki wins the penultimate round once again. You're going to be her teammate next season at Mercedes. How are you feeling for that? And anything to expect ahead of it now?
I don't know. I mean, I've always wanted to race for Mercedes, and obviously Owen is the team principal, and he's a good friend of mine, so that'll be nice. I do kind of want to stay at McLaren a little bit. Obviously, the contract's have already been signed because I don't think I'm going to be quick enough to be very competitive in the Mercedes. But it'd be nice to have a new challenge anyway. So I look forward to that. And obviously, me and Mintokki get on pretty well, and she's obviously really quick. A little bit inconsistent maybe with strategy, so hopefully I can help her out with that to improve her a little bit. But no, it should be a really good challenge. I don't know if I'll be able to compete for the title, how competitive I'll be in the title. I'm sure I'll turn up on the day, more competitive or more like mentally in the zone. But I mean, for the minute, I'm just trying to just finish off this season. I've had exams and stuff in uni, so
yeah,
the season's not been too much of a focus at the minute. But I'll be fully focused next season in Mercedes. So yeah, it should be good.
Did you have a least favorite race this season? And what do you think your worst race was this season, if it wasn't today?
I really enjoyed today, to be fair. Normally I just like hate it when I don't do well, but I really liked how fast I was on the safety car restart, so that was, I guess, something to take away from it. Least favorite race, looking back on, probably Singapore, because of it was just a messy race from my part, a stupid overtake and a big penalty. So yeah, I'd probably go with Singapore. Yeah, even though I didn't. I won technically on track because the V Cup had a penalty, but no, I'd still say that. I said that was my worst performance and worst race, even though it's probably my second best track.
So Faded had to go eat for dinner. He was my co-com for tonight, but he had two questions he wanted to ask for you. I want to ask the first one, which I'm really interested to know now because, you had last season your championship contender, Red Fire. You went up against, beat him when it mattered too. And then you had Polo this season, pretty much. What fueled you to win the championship this season?
I wanted to, I know obviously, so I won my first one last season, and that was off the back of my Tier 3 one, which is like a cowboy championship. And I mean, to be fair, it doesn't matter what you do or how you win something. There's always going to be people that are gonna have something else to say about it, say that you didn't deserve it or you got lucky or whatever. And
100%.
to be fair, so it was definitely that as well. It was definitely I didn't want people to say I didn't win the title, Red Fire lost it. And I also just wanted to have two titles. Ultimately, because there's quite a lot of people who've just got one title in Tier 2. I think only Jack and Owen, and now obviously myself, are the only ones to be multiple champions. So I definitely wanted to, do that. I think, to be fair, my actual physical aim for this season was to try and overtake Owen in wins, most amount of wins. But I'm obviously not going to be able to do that this season. But yeah, I'll take
4 wins away.
Yeah, I'll take the championship in the end. Yeah.
And the other question Faded had is, and before I get to the question, I just want to mention you know, start out with McLaren 1-2s, little, I don't want to say rivalry, I guess, but I guess it's the only word you could use, a little rivalry between you and Polo in races like Singapore in the opening lap and Mexico. But the driver pairing clearly has worked. All you guys need to do is wrap up the title in the sprint in Brazil, which is very, very possible to do next week. But the question was from Faded, why did the driver pairing work between you and Polo, in your honest opinion?
I don't know. We didn't really talk that much, truth be told. I mean, before, during the week, we'll sort of, in the Alpine chat, we'll just sort of I don't know. We very rarely talk. It's not because we don't like each other. We're just not really close in that way. But I mean, we both get on really well. I think the only conversation we've really had, actually, to be fair, at the start of the season, we had an agreement where we'd both be equal drivers, but if one of us took a 30-plus point lead in the drivers' championship, then the other driver would become like a sort of a second driver. And I think at one point, it might have been before Hungary, actually. I can't remember, but I think I did have a 30-point lead over him, and he was more than happy to, yeah, I'll be a second driver now. But then obviously he then got back into the title fight with that great win he had at Hungary. And we were back then to be equal and all out fighting. But no, to be fair, we've always we've maybe had a few little mind games or whatever here and there, but no, we've always been really sensible, really clean. We've known that the team comes first. To be fair, I have to give him credit on that side. Because in all honesty, I'm not that interested in constructors. But he was really assertive, and they said that no, we have to keep it clean. The constructors is the priority, so I have to give him full credit for that. And to be fair, I think he deserves a lot of credit in general. He had a really bad season last season in Ferrari, and I know he was saying that was down to the performance of the car and didn't like the way the car handles. And I'll be honest, I didn't believe him. I didn't buy it. I just thought it was just an easy excuse sort of thing. But to be fair to him, he's turned it around really well. Had that really good win in Hungary. Almost won in Bahrain as well, but got unlucky. And China as well. And not to big myself up, but I've people have been rumored to I'm getting banned, and I've won a lot of races, and he's given me a really good fight. He's gone from being almost tier 3 material to sticking it to the best. So he just deserves a lot of credit.
Yeah, and it's interesting because it's an Welsh and Irish lineup. I mean, we've seen that before with you and Owen, Jack and Owen. Not the first time, and you know what? Probably not the last time we'll see that happen. Whether it be tier 1, tier 2, but yeah, it seems to always be a strong lineup. Whether it's you and Owen, you and Polo now, Jack and Owen. But my last question comes from something you briefly mentioned. You were tier 3 to start this game, and it must be said, this recovery you've had at the last game, if you remember this, you were teammates with Skither in tier 1, and you were tier 1 pace for sure, but had this massive fall off to where you did not seem like you were really anywhere in the mix. You went to Williams into tier 2, and I mean, we know the story with what's happened now in that Texas race, but before then, even in France and in that race in Texas, it wasn't the usual George Alp-Williams we had seen. I guess my question is probably a two-part question. What have you done, whether it be the change in game to change it around, and the second part of it being, do you think you can make a run at tier 1 in F125 because of it?
I've got this incredible talent where I can only drive to the pace of the car. So you'll watch me in tier 1, for example, I'll struggle to get in to Q3 in an Alpine, and I'll drive at the Alpine, where the Alpine should finish. But then I'll do the same in a McLaren. Like in Jeddah, I was, keeping with Minico and Reese and Florian a little bit. So I have this really weird like ability to like I'm only fast in fast cars almost, which is I guess that's why I'm not really confident for next tier 2 season because the Mercedes isn't as fast. So I won't be as fast. I'm not like Mintokki, for example, where she can drive a Mercedes at a McLaren pace, for example. I'm only going to be able to drive a Mercedes at a Mercedes pace. And it's a conversation I've had so many times with Jack, pleading for the McLaren Tier 1. But
Yeah.
no, I think Tier 1 is in a really good place at the minute. It's really competitive, got really fast drivers, and I think Tier 2, like me for example, and some other Tier 2 drivers, we're not fast enough for Tier 1, plain and simple. Like myself, for example, I don't think I would realistically be considered for anything faster than an Alpine or Haas, maybe, full time in Tier 1. I don't want to speak for the others, but I think the others would maybe be in the same boat. So I think, yeah, a Tier 1. I would rather be in a fast car in Tier 2 than like a midfield or slow car in Tier 1. To answer your question.
Yeah, that makes sense, and I think a lot of us can totally understand that for sure, having driven some of the cars, whether it be Tier 2, Tier 1, Tier 3, for those watching it back or whatever the case may be. But yeah, I just want to congratulate you on the title. Well deserved, and I want to have you give any final comments on the Tier 2 season with one round to go, and looking forward to our final Tier 2 season next season with Season 16. Do you have any comments on that as the tier coordinator?
Well, yeah, it's been a good season this season. I think there's been a lot of like up and coming drivers who've proved their worth, like Tom Penguin. As far as I was concerned, I didn't really I saw him as a bit of a filler. I thought he was just like in the Ferrari, just like for the sake of being in a Ferrari, because Invade couldn't find anyone better. But I think he's definitely proved he's really quick and qualifying, and he is always there or thereabouts in the race. I think he's one to watch out for. He's really proved himself this season. Zakaria as well. He's gone from struggling in Tier 1 to getting P2 today, being up there again. Mintokki as well. She had her first win last season, and now she's proving consistently. She had 4 poles, 3 poles this season.
4 poles, yeah.
And again, obviously one tonight. And there's, apart from poor strategies, but she's always been, top 5 fighter for podiums. I think there's definitely been a few drivers that have been really competitive and really fast this season. Night Owl as well, of course, and next season as well. Like Night Owl is in the Ferrari. There's loads of fast drivers and fast cars, which is
got the full lineup here in my notes.
This is why I'm not as confident as maybe what I should be for the next season. Once all the faster drivers are going into faster cars, and I was struggling to beat them when they were in slower cars, I'm going to a slower car. So,
I mean, we technically have 4 rookies next season. We have Fusion in the McLaren, technically not a rookie, but we'll call him one because he's being promoted.
He's another one, yeah.
He raced in Tier 2 partially. Yeah, we'll see if he wins the Tier 3 title next week. We have Shorts and Alpine, Hyper and Sauber, and Alex Norris and Haas. But, you mentioned some big names. 2 names you didn't mention are some drivers returning. Gaggi has not won a Tier 2 race. He's in Aston Martin, and J&T was the Tier 2 champion about 3 seasons ago. He'll be in V-Carb alongside Zakaria.
Yeah, true. Yeah, Gaggi was really good before he got banned. I think he thought he was better than what he was, truthfully. But J&T as well, obviously former champion. I think is he the only person or only champion to have like 100% podium finish rate or something? Yeah, he
had 10 straight podiums that season, and he was off the podium, I think, in China, maybe?
Yeah.
China or the final round, maybe. But something like that. He had a podium streak that only you and Jack have had the likes of under the Tier 2 banner.
Yeah, so when he locks in. He is really good. It'll be nice to see those 2 back for sure. It's definitely going to be
Williams now.
I mentioned earlier about the sort of the gap between Tier 2 and Tier 1 being quite large. But it definitely looks like that gap will be closing a little bit. lineup for next season definitely looks like the strongest it's been for a while.
And I said that at the start of this season, but again, you need to have drivers show up when it matters most.
Yeah, exactly.
And hopefully we do get more than just, two drivers fighting. I mean, I know you would love to, win the championship on your own or win before the final race. But the thing is that, if it's going to come next season in the Mercedes, it's going to have to come through maybe multiple person, multiple people.
I'm still gonna back myself. I think I still can do it, obviously, and I'm still gonna, like, if you to ask me if I think I could retain, then yeah, obviously I'm gonna say I'll be there. Because whilst everyone else is fast, over a championship season, there's not really been many who can get that close to me. And obviously
exactly.
last season I turned over 50 odd point cap deficit.
It was insane, the amount,
into a 50-point lead or something. And obviously this season now as well, I've wrapped up a race early. So yeah, I mean, I definitely back myself. I think I'd be sort of stupid not to. It'll just be close to that, so. Which maybe
gotta get the results in the days that it counts.
Maybe you could argue it being closer is more in my favour, because that's where I've always thrived this season than last season, when it gets close and personal. But no, it'll be a good season.
Yeah, and we also have a battle for second as well for the Tier 2 Drivers' Championship now. Polo behind Mintokki by 2 points.
Really? Wow, that's interesting.
That'll be fun. Yes. I wonder if you're back in that race. Your teammate this season or your teammate next season? You probably want to stay out of it as much as you can.
Depends who pays him the most.
Yeah.
No, I think
Well, I think both of them will be paying you for different reasons.
I've got no real interest now in the drivers. This is all about wrapping up the constructors, and if we wrap up the constructors and Mintokki comes second in the drivers, then whatever. But if Polo keeps or retake second, then I'll be equally happy for both of them. So it is what it is.
Yeah.
I think Polo deserves it, but then to be fair, so does Mintokki.
Yeah, really good seasons from both of them, and we'll find out if they do keep it into to next week, the Brazil race, the finale, the sprint, and the main race itself still to go for the Tier 2 season. And also, you made a point about Owen's amount of wins in Tier 2. Obviously, we're including F1.5 into this. 4 wins away. You could get that gap down to 3 if you do win in Brazil. So, obviously, I'm sure that's something you want to do based on what you were mentioning earlier.
Yeah, it would be nice to finish my last race for McLaren with a win. I think it's definitely one of my stronger tracks, but it's again a really close track. So we'll see. Elbows out, nothing to lose.